IV flow rate math. It scares a lot of PTCB students, right? Well, after today, it won't scare you. Hey, welcome to the PTCB Prep Guide. Our whole goal here is to make pharmacy math simple, clear, and, believe it or not, actually kind of enjoyable to learn. In this explainer, we're going to break down the exact IV flow rate formulas and the types of problems you're going to see on the real exam. We'll do it step by step in really easy to understand language. We're going to turn that confusion into confidence. So let's get started.
So let's get right to it. Why is this so important? Well, as a pharmacy technician, accurately calculating IV flow rates it's absolutely critical for patient safety. And for the PTCB exam, it's pretty much a guaranteed topic. Mastering this isn't just about passing a test. It's about being fantastic at your job.
When you really break it down, the exam is just testing you on 4 main skills. First, can you pick the right formula for the job? Second, can you handle a simple time conversion, like from hours to minutes? Third, can you use the correct drop factor? And finally, do you know how to round your answer so it makes sense in the real world? That's it. If you can do these 4 things, you're golden. And today, we're going to master every single one.
Okay, so think of what's coming up next as your essential toolkit, your secret weapon, if you will. We're going to walk through the main formulas you absolutely have to memorize. But don't worry, they're way more straightforward than they look.
First up, we've got drops per minute, or GDT/min. This is what you'll use for setting a manual IV drip. The formula is pretty simple. It's the total volume in milliliters multiplied by the tubing's drop factor, and then all of that is divided by the total time. But here's the kicker, and you gotta remember this. The time must be in minutes, not hours. That's a huge one, so burn that into your brain. Next up, we have milliliters per hour, or ml/HR. This one's for all those electronic infusion pumps. And honestly, it's about as easy as it gets. You just take the total volume in ml, and you divide it by the total time in hours. Boom, you're done. Nice and simple.
But what if the question flips it on you? What if they ask how long an infusion is going to take? For that, we use this formula right here. Just divide the total volume in ml by the rate in ml per hour. This will give you the time in hours. Now, a little warning here. A super common exam trap is when you get a decimal. Let's say your answer is 3.5 hours. You can't forget to turn that 0.5 into minutes. Just multiply it by 60.
All right, let's talk about this drop factor thing. It sounds super technical, but it's really just about the type of IV tubing being used. Macro drip tubing gives you bigger drops, like 10, 15, or 20 per milliliter. Micro drip is for when you need to be really precise, and it always gives you 60 tiny drops per mil. But here's the best part. You do not need to memorize these numbers. No way. The exam will almost always hand you this number right in the question. All right, you've got the tools in your toolkit. Now it's time to actually build something, right? Let's solve a couple of problems, and I mean exactly like the ones you're going to see on test day. We'll go through them one step at a time. Okay, here is a classic PTCB style question. Let's be detectives and pull out the clues. We have a volume, 500 milliliters. We have a time, 4 hours, and we have a drop factor of 15 GTT per milliliter. Our mission is to find the flow rate in drops per minute. So how do we crack this? Step 1. And please, please, please don't skip this. It's where most mistakes happen. We have to convert the time. The formula needs minutes, so we take those 4 hours and multiply by 60. That's 240 minutes. Got it? Good. Step 2. We just plug all our numbers into that formula we learned. So 500 ml times the drop factor, 15, divided by our 240 minutes. Step 3, we do the math, which gives us 7,500 divided by 240, and that equals 31.25. But wait, you can't give a patient a quarter of a drop, right? That's physically impossible. So for our final step, we always round to the nearest whole number. And just like that, we get our final answer, 31 drops per minute. See? It's just a process. Convert, plug in, calculate, and round. You follow those steps and you will nail this type of problem every single time. Okay, you ready to level up? Let's tackle a tougher one, a weight-based calculation. Now, I know these look super intimidating when you first see them, but I promise you they're just a series of small, simple steps all strung together. Our goal is to find the rate in mLs per hour. Let's do this. Okay, deep breath. Let's do this step by step. The very first thing you should notice is a classic exam trap. The ordered dose is in micrograms, but the drug in the bag is in milligrams. They don't match. We have to fix that first. So we convert 400 milligrams to 400,000 micrograms. Now we're talking. We divide that by the 250 milliliter volume, and boom, we have our concentration 1,600 micrograms in every single milliliter. Next, we figure out what our specific patient needs. We take the ordered 5 micrograms and multiply it by the patient's 60 kilogram weight. That gives us 300 micrograms per minute. See, we're just chipping away at it. Now we connect the dots. If the patient needs 300 micros a minute and our IV bag has 1,600 micros per ml, we divide the dose by the concentration. That tells us we need 0.1875 mLs every minute. And for the final step, remember the question wants mLs per hour. So we just multiply our ml per minute rate by 60.
And there we have it, 11.25 milliliters per hour. Since most modern infusion pumps can handle it, we might be asked to round this to 1 decimal place, making it 11.3. See? It looked like a monster of a problem, but it was just a series of small, logical steps.
Now for some insider knowledge. Knowing the formulas is one thing, but knowing the traps the exam writers love to use is how you really win. So let's look at the most common mistakes people make on test day.
Okay, the number one, the absolute biggest reason people get these questions wrong is unit mismatches. This is the easiest trap to fall into. They'll try to use hours in the drops per minute formula, or they'll forget to convert milligrams to micrograms like we just did. So here's the key takeaway. Always, always double check that your units match before you start calculating.
And here are a few more quick headers to watch out for. Forgetting a conversion, not rounding drops correctly, or just guessing a drop factor if it's not given, don't do that. But hey, I've got a pro tip for you. It's the micro drip shortcut. If the tubing is 60 GTT per mil, the drops per minute rate is the exact same number as the milliliters per hour rate. That's a huge time saver if it comes up on the exam.
Whew, we've covered a lot of ground. So I've boiled everything down for you onto one powerful summary slide. Think of this as your personal formula card for studying.
This is it. This is the slide you want to pause and take a screenshot of. Seriously. It has every key formula we talked about today, all in one easy-to-read spot. Review this before your exam, and you'll have everything you need right at your fingertips. Great job today. You now have the essential formulas, the shortcuts, and the problem-solving steps you need to confidently handle any IV flow rate question on the PTCB exam. But don't stop here. The real learning happens when you do it yourself. So grab a notebook and try these practice problems right now. Put those skills we just built to the test.
You've totally mastered the steps. The only thing left is building that muscle memory through practice. So my question to you is, what's the first problem you're going to solve right now to build your confidence? Go for it, and make sure to subscribe for more PTCB prep guides to stay ahead on your exam prep. You've got this.